Okay, let's get it on. It's your boy Chatsky coming at you with another video. This is what I've been waiting to do for a while now. I haven't done an investment tier list since December. It's been almost 4 months, and I've bought in a few KvKs since then. I've been able to apply the commanders that you need to make your marches better, that you need to make your account better, and to get the best results when you're in the field fighting, when you're rallying garrison, doing all that fun stuff. We're going to go through it all. So if you like the channel, be sure to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. Our subscriptions have been going crazy. We're almost up to, 27,000 now. Let's go. And I appreciate everybody on these public Discord servers who have been taking my feed for what I have as far as my content goes and putting it on their servers. That's really helped out a lot. And just you guys, I love you guys. And I love the community. You guys know me. I love to do this in a fun-loving manner. Love to express the best rock advice I can give you guys. If you want to join my community, my Discord link is in the description. Join there. That's where a lot of these conversations come into play. That's where we flesh out a lot of stuff when we are in our Discord talking about all this stuff. And today we are going to talk about commanders. I'm going to give you the tier list on what you ought to do with each one of these commanders. And with that, it's imperative. We all want to invest in this game. We all want to do the best that we can in this game. This is for players who are brand new, who are going to have a commander swap come up when KvK3 rolls around. These are players who are building their account in the late game. These are players who are doing all kinds of different things. This is how you have to invest, and this is what to invest in, okay? The one caveat to this is I'm leaving Siege out, okay? You can see I have Gajamata maxed, all right? Where's my Cordoba? I have Cordoba max as well. Where is this guy? There he is. I've got Margaret max as well. Where's she at? Okay, but I am not doing this for Siege. This is for your field fighting commanders. This is for the commanders who are going to be in the field doing the melee and all that fun stuff. So, with that being said, let's get into it, shall we? Okay. I'm going to pull this thing up here. I'm going to push this the game down so we can make sure and have it nice and clean for you, but this is what we're going to base off of. This is what we're going to do, okay? So with this being said, okay, the extreme priority commanders, these are commanders that are they're not just the best in the game, they're so much further ahead than everybody else. And this is what you have to do with these commanders. We can talk about each one of them. We can go through all this stuff. You guys can disagree and argue. You can have better results than I get for certain things, but I'm going to go through the extreme priority of commanders. There's only 3 of them, okay? We're going to put up Arthur, we're going to put up Philip, and we're going to put up Luce. Okay, those are your extreme commanders. Those are the ones that you have to prioritize no matter what. People have now got to use Philip in a bunch of different roles. We have so many roles for him now. It is absolutely crazy. And so with that, I mean, you kind of go into some of these stats here. You go into some of the things. We'll start with Luce. Luce is still, after over a year of being out in the game, he does so much damage. Okay, he's got a good debuff on the march speed. We go through this stuff. He literally takes 20% less skill damage, more tanky. He has 20% defense. He does 20% march speed. That's great. All the bonuses he's got an extra smite damage that he does. So that's a proc that happens. Okay, you come over here, you increase the normal damage. You do a damage reduction when you do smite. I mean, there's all kinds of things. And then this is what makes him just out of control, is that he's got a 25% chance. There's no cooldown on this. Every second he hits with white numbers, he's got a 25% chance to do an extra basic attack. And so you basically double up those attacks. Well, that helps with your instant procs. That helps with all the things that you do with commanders behind him. That's why Alex is so good with him. That's why he is so broken. This guy is just out of control, super good. Okay, so that's on the infantry side of things. On the cavalry side of things, you've got Arthur. Arthur is just busted, guys. He's brand new commander. He is laying out 2,800 damage factor on 3 targets. He's great as a secondary to use him as a active skill damage commander. He uses it as a skill damage commander. As a primary, he's a combo commander. Then all of a sudden now starts proccing off a whole lot of attributes and skills and talent trees and equipment that deal with getting a 10% chance to proc, if you will. So that 10% chance to proc gets it's really enhanced by his combo situation. And then when you look at this, he's got March speed, he's got his attack bonus is huge, he's got good health, he does so many different things. His combo damage is enhanced, his skill damage is enhanced. It's just really, really wild, because that is increased by 30%, or increased by 3, so that goes up to 30% on the combo and the skill damage. He does a rage reduction, he does March speed. There's all kinds of different ways to use this guy, and then this is what makes him crazy. Okay, he does the additional combo damage as a primary, and then as a secondary, this has no cooldown. Okay, he can actually give you 50% of your active skill. There's a 25% chance you're going to deal 50% of your active skill. Doesn't matter if it's him or the guy he's with or the girl he's with. It doesn't matter. And that's what makes him so good. He's just broken, y'all. He's just that good. People running him with Delta. That's how I run him primary with Delta. People run him behind Huo as a secondary with an active skill component. That's a skill damage component. And so that is why this guy is so freaking powerful. Then we get to this guy. I had a video last month that said he is the most important commander in the game. And nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? I'm sorry, nothing could be more true, because this guy is absolutely crazy. Okay, we all know about his buff. He's wild with it. He does give the extra benefit. He's going to give you troop march speed, doesn't matter which troop type. He's going to give you the benefit if you put him with other commanders. He's so versatile because his active skill is all damage. So he's going to enhance. He's an enabler. He's going to enhance whatever you put him with. That's what he does. Okay, you get into here, you run one troop type, you deal 30% damage. This guy just does so much freaking all damage. It is out of control. Okay, he's got a march speed bonus and a damage reduction. If you have 2 or more troop types, nobody ever does that. You always want to run him with one troop type. The only time you put 2 troop types is if you're running him as an infantry or as an archer commander. Then you put a T1 cav in the march. That way you have 15% march speed that's additional to get to the fight. And the minute you hit somebody, that T1 cav will die. That T1 cav will go to your hospital, and then you're back to having your 30% more damage. Okay, so it's a little trick and technique that people use. Whenever this is what makes him really, really good. What makes him really, really good with Arthur. It's what makes him really, really good with Luce, because we had talked about Luce's extra basic attack. We talked about Arthur's combo attack. It procs this kind of stuff. Okay, and there's only a 3-second cooldown. This is an AoE instant proc that has rage reduction. It is so overpowered. It's just crazy what this guy does, and then this is what really makes him go. Okay, anytime you launch an active skill, you have a 40% chance to launch his active skill, again, almost like a Jones situation. Or you have a 20% chance to launch the active skill of the other commander. I put him behind Guan in Canyon, and getting a proc silence, like Guan hits, he hits, then Guan hits again, and then Guan hits again, like you're continuously silencing whatever you're hitting. But he can do that same thing with damage. Like Luce hits, he hits, Luce hits, and then Luce hits again on the second cycle. That's just crazy, crazy damage this guy enables the commander he's with to do. Okay, we even found some synergies with him and Attila, because doing this and running him secondary, Attila does damage every second. So it doesn't matter when this hits. It doesn't matter if he hits as a secondary active. It doesn't matter if it hits as a proc. Attila ramps up so much all damage that it really helps him, and Attila does damage every second. So we found a field march for Attila. And so this guy can go with anybody. Personally, I feel like he's part of the best archer march you can run. Zuge with Philip is like the best archer march you can run. And he might be arguably the best infantry march you can run. Luce with this guy could be the best infantry march you can run. He could be the best cavalry march you can run. You go run Arthur with this guy, that could arguably be the best cavalry march there is. Okay, and so this guy is just that busted. You invest in him, you have no worries about him being obsolete. He's going to last for a very long time in this game. You can move him around and do different things. And just think, with all the commanders and what they do and how they are affected by this guy, what's going to happen in the future when we get more commanders? There's going to be more synergies. Okay, if we're reviving Wallace, or I'm sorry, if we are reviving William, if we're reviving Alex, then there's a chance we're going to probably revive this guy in 3 or 4 years. So there's all kinds of different ways to look at that as far as his sustainability. Okay, so those are the 3 that you got, just so everybody kind of understands how that thing works. pull this back up here. So those are the top priority. You got to invest in those guys. If you don't, you're never going to reach full max potential when it comes to your trades and when it comes to what you're doing, okay? So now I'm going to go to the high priority. These are commanders you should be investing in, okay? The first and foremost, I'm going to say Hua. I'm going to say Ragnar after that. I'm going to say Zuge, and I'm going to say Herman, okay? That's it. That's it. I would put Joan up there, but now that we have Arthur, and now that you have a component with cavalry with Philip, I don't necessarily put Joan as a high priority because there's a lot of different ways you can run cavalry. And we'll talk about another way you can do it here in a few. But Huo, we talk about. Massive damage, quick rapid fire. He is great. Ragnar, off the charts. Always trading super positive. You run Skippy with him. You can run Philip behind him. You can do all kinds of stuff. Ragnar is crazy. I told you he was going to be nuts. He is nuts. Okay, you've got Zuge and you've got Herman. We all know what Zuge does. He's been in the game a while. 5 target AoE in a circle, and it's massive damage. Herman does the poison stacks that ramps up your skill damage. These two are high priority. I'd put them right even. Okay, if you can only invest in one, people would say you could use Zuge, but people like me and like Cortex and others, we would say Herman is actually a better single commander that you can put with a lot of other people. It's because of his march speed. It's because of his debuff and everything that he does. So those are your high priorities. You got to get these guys. They're going to be around for a while. They're going to be in the game for a while. Okay, we're not getting an infantry commander coming up in the next infantry MGE when they release those next gen commanders. They're not going to get one to replace Ragnar. Okay, they might get one to replace one of the archers, but archers are kind of lacking right now. It's hard to run 2 and 3 archer marches without Philip. Okay, and so that's why Zuge and Herman are a high priority. Okay, now we're going to get into medium priorities. I put Joan here. These are good priorities to have. If you have all these commanders and you're working the wheel on some of these others, these are all good ones to have. CPO is still up there because he's a great partner with Ragnar. I put Belly up there, and I also put Ash up here. Belly lasted probably about 6-7 months. Okay, the reason why Belly is not run near as much anymore is because Arthur came out. And a lot of people are liking to run Arthur primary with Philip secondary. A lot of people are liking to run Arthur primary with William secondary. And so Belly is no longer near the priority of investment. Okay, some people put him over here or even put him on low priority. But I keep him here because I still run him when I run 3 cavalry marches. I do all the time. And so great swarm. He's the best swarmer in the game. If you're swarming flags, if you're swarming counter rallies, if you're swarming garrisons, this is what this guy is built for. Joan, we had talked about. I don't think she's going anywhere for a while. Okay. She's still very, very relevant. She's still going to be relevant, I think, over the next year, even through the next Cav cycle. I think she'll still be relevant, and we'll be using her. William Wallace, I wish he was better. But truth is, William Wallace with Luce, when those two go together, it's phenomenal. It's one of my best trading marches. People that don't have William Wallace don't know. They're going to tell you not to get him because placebo effect. They don't have him, so I'm going to tell you not to get him. But he is absolutely fantastic with Wallace. I have seen that trades better than Wallace is great with Luce. I've seen that trades better than my Luce Alex. I've seen that it can trade as good as my Luce Philip. Okay, I like Wallace a lot, but again, medium priority. Okay, I'd probably put him on the back here because considering that the new infantry is coming out, you probably don't want to mess with him. The reason why CPO is probably more valuable is because he's the only skill damage commander that can go with Ragnar. They have the synergies. They're both skill damage commanders. You run the wedge formation with them, and that's how you do that, okay? We talked about Belly. Ash. I love Ash. I freaking love him. I love him in the field. I love him on the rallies. I love everything about Ash. He is a medium priority. He can be a niche priority as well when it comes to those of you archer players who are rallies. If you're an archer player and you're trying to run 2 and 3 archer marches, you have to have Ash. You have to go get Ash, okay? So now we'll go to our low priority. And these are ones you can probably get on the dailies. These are ones that you can probably just do here and there when it comes to some of the events and things that we have in the game. And so I put Attila there. Okay, bear with me. I put Attila there because we found a field march with him and Philip that's really, really good. So there's some field viability with Attila. Okay, I also put him as a low priority because everybody needs a city rally. Everybody in the game, if you're in the in game, you need to have some sort of city rally. And Attila is the city rally. You put Attila with Takeda, you put Attila with all kinds of other commanders, you put Attila with Ragnar, not Ragnar Prime, but Ragnar from the Gold Keys. You can put him with a lot of different commanders, and he's a great city rally, okay? But he's still a low priority because in the field, you can run him with Philip behind, or in an artifact KvK, you can put Luce behind him, and holy jeez, you guys don't even know about that. It is absolutely wild. Also, I put William in here as a low priority. I would say just no to William, but we found something, and I've got it in my old video that I put up just a few weeks ago. William Wallace is resurrected with Arthur. And one of the main reasons why is, like we talked about with Arthur, and like we talk about with Luce, is that when you look at any kind of instant proc, that's really going to enhance a commander. Okay, so when you come over here with William, he's got a great instant proc here. He does up to 1,000 damage if the target surrounded. It takes more direct damage. Total number of troops up to 5, so that's 1,500. If you're surrounding a troop, that's 1,500 proc damage. Okay, it's got a 5-second cooldown. That procs off. That's the issue I always had with William, was that his active skill doesn't do enough. It just simply does not. It does 1,600. On his active skill, it does 1,600 to 3 targets. Okay, that's just not enough this day and age. 2025, that doesn't do much for me. But all of a sudden, if this thing can proc a lot with Arthur running in front of him with the combo, then he's doing a lot of damage. And of course, we know about the rest of his kit, that it's just busted. All the stuff he does, the buffing he does, it is just absolute. The cleansing, it's just crazy what he's able to do. So I do put Wallace there, or I'm sorry, I do put William the Conqueror there as a low priority. Okay, you can still run dailies for him and go ahead and get him maxed. Do the same thing with Alex. Okay, Alex is not bona fide. You're gonna run him first and foremost. However, he's still got effectiveness with Luce. You've got Luce. Alex is an easy get. A lot of people already have a lot of heads in him. If you want to run the dailies on him, he's great. And so that is why Alex is still a low priority. And I put Nevsky as a low priority as well. If you have everything else, okay, then you can deal with Nevsky. I know the Nevsky lovers are going to absolutely hate me for saying that, but it's just real simple. When it comes to this, Nevsky he's getting old, y'all. He's getting old. The thing that keeps him in this game, all right, is this skill right over here. He's got 60% skill damage bonus that he does. Okay, that keeps him in the game because single target 2,300 damage factor, it's not that big of a deal. It's just not. And so in a back and forth murder ball fight, another thing with Nevsky that's hard is that that's not his forte to go back and forth. He's a slug it out type of commander, because when he gets focused, you get extra health. Okay, he is definitely a dueling commander. He's definitely a commander that's great in Canyon. He's definitely a commander. If you're in a murder ball fight, you are pushing and you are just running it down, he's gonna perform better. Okay, but that's just not how people fight. You don't fight in the Ultra like that, you go back and forth. You don't fight in murder balls like that, you go back and forth. You load the rage, you peel back, and then you hit it again, and you go back and forth constantly. And that's not necessarily his forte, okay? That's not the best. That's not what he's best at. And so I have him as a low priority. He's an older commander, and it's about time that you put him as a lower priority. All right, so now we're getting into the niche stuff, okay? So these are rallies and garrisons and commanders that do niche things. I put Attila here. Like Attila and Gorgo, absolutely. CY, absolutely. These are all great garrisons, these two. Attila, it can be a part of a garrison and an artifact KvK. He's also part of the meta rally right now when it comes to Subutai. You put Sipo Emilianus here, you put Takeda here. This is very niche. Takeda is there really as a city rally of lower power cities. Justinian's here. You still see some Nevsky Justinian rallies here and there when it comes to skill damage for Cavs. Constantine, now against Attila Subutai in a mono troop type situation without an artifact. Constantine with Gorgo, it might be the best counter you can do as an infantry garrison. So Constantine's got a niche here. Trajan has a niche here. When it comes to Canyon, that's all he's good for is Canyon. That's a niche. You could put him down here at just no, but I'll leave him up here as a niche. Martel, same thing. You got a niche here with Martel. You can run counter rallies with Martel. You can run him in garrisons to punish swarmers. His museum buff is off the charts. So much attack that's given to him through the museum buff. Henry, same thing. He's got a niche role. I think Henry is absolutely wonderful. He does absolutely great in his role of rallying archers. There's a lot of archer counter runs that he runs. A lot of if you're going into to high stress situations where you don't have the field. He's a good archer rally to run in there. Tarek has come up here because Tarek has been paired with Scipio Emilianus a lot. Okay, so he stays up here in a niche role. Okay, like it or not, Tommy's in a niche role, not for rally or garrison, but Tommy's just in a niche role if you want to put her in the field and load up the stacks. You want to put her with Herman and you want to go load up stacks in the field of skill damage taken. Okay, Hera, we know, is a niche role, great for mixed troop type garrison, great for city garrisons, and then Lapu Lapu, same thing with him. He's good for mixed troop types. He's good for city garrisons. That's really, really good. So that's how you round out your extreme priority, your high priority, your medium priority, your low priority, and your niche. Now, when you come down to here and just know, okay, this is really going to confuse a lot of people. Shajar, no, do not invest in her. Do not invest in her. She has gotten a Trajan tag very, very quickly to where the only thing she's really good at is in Canyon, survivability, and that's about it. Let me show you something. When it comes to Shajar, nobody wants to run her primary because it's a single target. Now, she does a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong. She does a lot of damage. Where is she at here? She's here somewhere. There she is. She's got a damage factor of 2,800 when she is the primary. When she's a secondary, she heals. And then she does a little bit of a true damage. The true damage sucks. It's just not good. We've tested it. We've run the numbers on it. It's just not that much damage factor. And it's not very good. I think we tested out. It's like 1,700 damage factor. So she gets a heal and you have 1,700 damage factor. But like I told you, when she came out, when I see healing, all I see is a hospital build. Because if you focus her down and she's just healing, she's just sending more Sevs to the hospital. Okay, so with that being said, she does have some march speed that she gives you. Okay, she gives health, so she's tanky. Okay, tanky doesn't mean prickly. And so from that standpoint, normal damage reduction, that's pretty good. Has an extra mighty heal that she does to 3 targets. That's fine for Canyon. That's really good for Canyon, actually. Damage reduction, mighty healing factor. She's got all kinds of stuff in here that really, really works pretty well. And I like this. Those 3 targets that get the heal, they also gain 10% defense, and they do 20% more normal damage. That's the only thing that makes her even think about running in the field, is that she's going to go give normal damage to Arthur as a combo commander, or to Luce, or to William Wallace. That's the only reason why you would even think about it. But otherwise, I just say just no. No way. I'm not using this commander. What am I going to use her with? I don't like to use her primary. I don't like to use her secondary. There's just nothing. She's a better version of Boudica as a primary. And Boudica is so far off the radar, you're not using her. So that's why I don't mess with Shajar. Okay, so I'm just saying, just know, if you're investing today, do not mess with Shajar. There are three other archer commanders you can use that are so much better, and even a 4th if you want to bring Philip in here. Okay, you can honestly do YSG. Okay, but here is Boudica, just know. Sargon, just know. Pakal, some people like to run Pakal with Scipio Emilianus, okay, just to be a little tankier and pricklier. But I see that you get just as much of that out of Martel. Put him behind Scipio Emilianus, okay, because the Pakal is a just know. It's not even a niche. Okay, same thing with Flavius. No way, no how. Do not mess with Flavius. Okay, he's not even a niche. It's such a small niche. You'll never use him. Don't invest in him. Dido, don't invest in. Same thing. Ziska, don't invest in. Juan. Oh, it pains me to say, because he's been one of my favorite commanders for so long, but you do not invest in Guan. Guan is long in the tooth. He doesn't do enough damage. He gets melted in the field. Not enough defensive capabilities. He's still great in Canyon. He really is. The silence really still helps in Canyon, but that's just a no. Artemisia, just no. Nebu, just no. Don't even mess with it. You can maybe run Nebu with Henry in non-artifact KvKs, and you want a prickly counterattack, or I'm sorry, counter rally in those KvKs. You can maybe do that, but I'm just going to say, why would you waste your MGE on him when there's so many other MGE commanders out there like Ash? Don't do that. Just no. YSG, just no. Now, YSG can be a low priority. Okay, just depending on what you're trying to do, because in artifact KvKs, he's great to put behind Huo. He's great to put behind Ragnar. Okay, so you can use him maybe as a low priority. And honestly, if you have him already, or if you have him from the early game and you didn't commander swap him, you can still use him with Herman. I mean, you're going to see some of that in the field, but as far as an investment goes, you don't go invest in that. You don't go invest in it. You don't put gold heads into it. If you didn't get them on the wheel early, you're not going to go do anything there. If you have everything else, you might put them here and do them on the dailies. Otherwise, just leave them here. Okay. What is this? Gilgamesh? Absolutely not. Cyrus? No. Saladin? No. CY? No. XY? Hell no. Honda? No way, no how. And last but not least, Harold. Okay, you do not want to mess with those commanders. You don't want to think about them. You don't want to look at them. Just don't even worry about them. Let somebody else in if you have such a finite niche that you're going to run maybe for one rally in the entire KvK of 1,000 rallies, let somebody else run this stuff. Okay, do not run this stuff. Do not invest in it. Don't worry about doing any of that. Okay, if you're on the wheel and you got archers, this guy and this guy are who you want to invest in. Okay, you don't want to invest in her and her on the wheel. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to invest in Cyrus on the wheel when the archer wheel comes around. When the cavalry wheel comes around, you want this guy. You want this guy. You want this girl. Okay, you do not want to mess with some of these commanders. I didn't put Chandragupta down here. Nobody takes Bert and Chandragupta seriously. They don't even deserve a mention when it comes to some of this stuff. So that's kind of where we're at with all of these commanders. Take a screenshot of it. That is our value. That is the investment tier list that we have. Okay, so I expect all kinds of feedback from this. If you're starting the game out, or if you're just now kind of getting real involved with it in the Season of Conquest at the end game, this is what I think you ought to do. This is what I think you ought to focus on investing in. These three guys. You will not go wrong with these three guys. These ones here, amazing, absolutely amazing. You're not going to have a problem with them. They're going to be around for a long time. For the most part, these are great. They still got a lot of life left in them. Okay, and so with that being said, you'll be using these in meta marches for the foreseeable future. Low priority, these are ones that you use in the dailies, maybe try to get. It opens up other combinations, and that's what you use for low priority. And city rallies here, behind Arthur for William, behind Luce for Alex, and then you've got Nevsky as maybe a third cavalry march to be able to do that. You got your niche commanders, you got your just no commanders. So, that being said, hope everybody got a little bit out of that. And again, I am not trying to hate on Shajar. I just don't think she's actually worth it to invest in. But I'm your boy Chadsky. If you've got any comments, I try to go through and reply to any comments, any questions that you might have. Also join my Discord. Guys, listen, when you're in the comments, you can say, hey, I agree with this. I don't agree with that. Great video, bad video, whatever you want to say. But if you're going to ask me like intricate questions like, hey, I'm running 2 archers and I have this and I have that, just go to my Discord. The link is in the description. You go to my Discord and then you ask those questions in there. And I promise you're going to get a whole lot of people that'll help you out with that. With that being said, we're going to get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, throw a thumbs up on it. Consider subscribing and have a great day, everybody.